Hello and welcome back to You Like It, We Don't. I'm one of your three hosts, Maeve.
I'm Jen.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Urbia is not going to be joining us this week.
No, he thought it was going to be more fun to have an all-expenses-paid trip to the US. Okay, no, that does sound pretty fun.
Yeah, it does. So, damn you. So instead, we'll replace Urbia this week with a Pikachu doll.
Pika Pikachu, Pika, Pikachu, Pika, Pikachu.
Shut up, Urbia. Don't worry. We got this one. We got this one this week. We got this.
Right, okay, so this is going to be a quick fire round this week. We only have 3 quick topics that we want to discuss. Far Cry 5, we're all looking forward to that. A brief description and what we think is going to happen there. A little late to the party. Nintendo Switch we're going to talk about, but that's not because we only got one now.
Yes.
Maybe we got the bargain of a century. And then we're going to talk about the remastering of Spyro and
Burnout Paradise. And yeah, that'll be our episode for this week. Just a quick fire mini one. Just to keep things going.
Right, so let's start.
So,
Far
Cry 5.
Well, obviously, I think we're both looking forward to that one quite a lot.
Yes. No, look, I think my favorite thing about Far Cry 5 has to be the new setting. Because it's so out there. And I like what they do with Far Cry 5 because it's always the weirdest stuff. I mean, who would have guessed that Far Cry 4 would have been in the Himalayas?
No, it's
really.
very true.
It's like, really, like, a tropical island, Himalayas.
And now the US. Who knows where the next one is going to be? The dark side of Mars.
Yes. That would be amazing.
Earth upside down, like we could tell. Actually, no. Stranger Things upside down, Dark Cry. Far Cry.
Dark Cry. Yes, so... No, that is one thing that I will give the Far Cry series. And, you know, they don't milk... I mean, okay, they have been milking it in recent years, but they release one every 2 years or so.
And what I have to give Ubisoft credit for, they don't pull punches. They don't pander to the sensitive people. They don't withhold commentary. They will make an edgy game.
Yes.
Yeah, when it works.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Far Cry 5. I mean, it's like from some of the gameplay trailers I've seen, it looks like it's gonna be pretty interesting. They've added a lot of different things. I think one of my favorites is you'll be driving around in a truck with machine guns in it. Which is
how's that different from what the South in the US actually is?
That I found pretty amazing. That looked pretty cool. The gameplay seems to be the usual Far Cry gameplay, and thank God they got rid of those damn towers.
Oh, no towers this time.
No towers this time. The entire map is free for you to explore. You will have towers, but not in the same sense. Like, you'll use it to attack a base.
Okay, but how do you get weapons then? I'm assuming... It's not the same as with the other Far Cry's where you get a tower and then certain guns are unlocked. Although that did kind of take away the incentive for me to ever buy a gun. Because I was like, just one more tower and I'd probably get it. And I did.
Yeah, okay, maybe they're going to do something different this time. Maybe they're going to do like the more bases that you capture.
Or
guns.
Or you have to shoot a tiger in the center of his head. Peter loves that.
Yeah, let's be honest, it's going to keep that Far Cry aspect, isn't it? Yeah, you're going to kill a lot of animals in the game.
But okay, I'm obviously looking forward to Far Cry quite a lot. What I'm worried for is what happens after Far Cry. Because
Far Cry 5?
Yeah, Far Cry 5. So Far Cry 6 or whatever they call it. By then it's probably... Far Cry Revengeance, or Far Cry Resurgence, or whatever thing it's gonna make cataloging it a nightmare, or worse, just Far Cry.
Yeah, yes.
A criticism of Far Cry 4 was, it's just Far Cry 3, but in the Himalayas. And it's a valid point. They didn't evolve that much. Fortunately, Far Cry 3 was so good that a copy and paste of it still carried it well. And the fact that this one is set in the south of the U.S., that I like the premise, I like the setting. There's always a drug aspect, which I'm sure,
of course,
who knows, maybe we're going to get another field-burning reggae song action going again.
Oh, if they do that, I'll be so happy.
So we'll get some nice Far Cry trips going on in there. But what happens now after Far Cry? What are they going to do to evolve it? I mean,
Okay,
if this game, Far Cry 5, wasn't set in the way that it was, with the story it currently has, I probably wouldn't be interested. Yeah, it's...
I mean, look, the thing is, okay, let's put it from this perspective, okay? Far Cry... Because, even with the Himalayan thing, I was still hooked on Far Cry 4. I really enjoyed Far Cry 4. Yes, it was technically a reskin of Far Cry 3 in almost every conceivable way. However, it was still a legitimately good game. And Far Cry 4 did it for me really well. I will say, though, I was not intrigued at all by Far Cry Primal. I don't know. I couldn't in my mind justify purchasing a Far Cry game where I would not have any guns.
Yeah. I mean, the old description of Far Cry 3 was, it's Skyrim, but with guns.
With guns, yes.
And now you take the guns away, then, I think that's pretty much the worst criticism we can give Far Cry Primal.
Yeah.
It's like, as you're walking through it, I could be playing Skyrim right now. Bigger world, more shit to do, same weapons, thicker story, assuming you don't play the main campaign, which is, I've had farts that lasted longer than that campaign.
But
I don't know, Skyrim.
Skyrim, oh yeah.
The game can go on forever, but the story mode is over like that.
Okay, but I mean, that is Bethesda's bread and butter, essentially. They give you an open world and they're like, go, man.
Go for it.
But okay.
Yeah, there's this impending doom on the planet. But take your time. It's fine.
But yeah, no, with Far Cry, look, I have a feeling, okay, think about it like this. What happens if Far Cry 6 has a blood dragon? Far Cry Blood Dragon sort of thing, huh?
Blood Dragon was the shit.
In the future.
I love the Blood Dragon. Oh, that game was just so good for me on so many levels. Just the way it starts. He suits up, he puts the gun in the holster, puts his suit on, gets himself ready. Last thing he does, readjusts his junk. Right, I'm ready.
Yeah, so what happens if they do a Far Cry Blood Dragon sort of thing?
If they make
Far Cry
Blood
6?
Dragon... Okay, I was about to say Blood Dragon proper. I mean, there was nothing wrong with Blood Dragon. It was just short. If they make, effectively, Blood Dragon 2, add to the humor, make the cutscenes animated, all that fun stuff, oh, I'd love that. I mean, they did sequel bait a little there, although that was kind of the same way some 80s action movies that didn't get a sequel with sequel bait, so I don't know if that was just another joke.
Well, look, either way, though, they did a great job with that. So, look, honestly, at this point, I think they know what they're doing. I feel like Far Cry 5 is definitely going to step up the game and definitely give us exactly what you want, which is the mayhem,
the chaos, the drug-fueled anarchy,
anarchy
with a truck that has machine guns on it. Oh, and then we still have to wait until end of March.
Yes.
Oh.
But on the bright side, and this I think is my favorite addition, the entire campaign will be co-op.
Yes.
Not split screen, unfortunately.
No, but we've decided we're doing our own version of split screen. I come over to Meg's house. We set up a second screen, 2 PS4s. Suddenly we sound a little spoiled, but we'll use 2 PS4s to just sit on the couch.
Yes, and that is how we will play split screen.
Because it's split by being 2 screens. So we'll do our own fucking split screen.
Since, split screen nobody gives a shit about anymore.
Yeah.
So, I have a feeling that Far Cry 5 is gonna be the shit.
I would just hope that Far Cry after Far Cry 5 keeps it going. I don't want, because I think this might be a reskin of Far Cry 4, but I don't care yet. If Far Cry 6 is a reskin of 5, then the series is in trouble. And I don't want them to suffer from sequelitis.
You know what? I don't think that they will. I think that, because, I mean, Ubisoft have been on a tangent now. They realize that they need to...
They learned from Assassin's Creed. They learned
from Assassin's Creed that they can't just keep on putting out the same thing over and over and over again.
Looking at you,
Activision. Fucking
no, Activision Blizzard.
Oh, yes. Blizzard.
Alright, so... gliding gracefully like a butt across sandpaper into the second one. Your new Switch. My God, we've been waiting for this day, haven't we?
So, as mentioned in a previous episode, I've been wanting a Switch for a while.
A while? Dear
yes.
God. It was, we couldn't stand the moment. You were waking up in the middle of the night. Switch! And
for me, the tear-soaked pillows of me waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat in a nightmare only started once Xenoblade Chronicles 2 got released. Because I'm a huge Xenoblade fan, and as soon as that got released, all I was thinking about was, gotta get the Switch.
And then you find a brand new second-hand Switch.
To put this in perspective,
blows my mind.
To put this in perspective, it's not a... Okay, it was brand new, still in the plastic and everything, still brand new, but somebody bought it, they tried to give it to their child, and the child said, I want a PS4. So...
the guy had to sell
it. So I got a brand new Switch for dirt cheap. So I was very happy. I was very lucky. I found the listing 2 days after it was put on the internet.
Yeah, because that guy was going to get snatched up quick.
Oh, yeah. So it was great. It was a fantastic deal. And I got myself Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Really enjoying the Switch. I must say, I think Nintendo did a great job. It really is a seamless experience.
I just love how we've come full circle. We had cartridges, then we moved to discs, and now we're right back to cartridges.
It's crazy.
Because ironically, cartridges are fast enough. Discs don't spin at that speed.
I mean, it's all because of phones, essentially. Because SD card technology, it had to eventually get to this point.
So ironically, if we just stuck with cartridges, we would have been fine today.
Yeah, eventually we would have been fine.
But okay, I think I made this joke once where I pointed out, once upon a time, in ye old Victorian England, if someone asked thou the time, you'd have to reach into your pocket, take out your pocket watch, hit the button at the top so that it opens and look at the time. Then we invented the wristwatch, so that you could just look at it. Then smartphones came around, and now once again, if someone asks you, what is the time, you have to take out your phone, hit the button to turn on the screen,
and look at the time.
It was, oh good, we've gone full circle again. And then they brought out the smartwatch, and I went, oh fuck off.
Now these technologies, they always seem to go in a cyclical thing. It's ridiculous.
You think it's intentional, or it's just how we people are?
I think it's just how we people are. But I mean, look, overall though, seriously, highly would recommend the Switch, especially if you are a person who travels a lot. Man, is it worth it.
A Switch and a Vita must-haves.
Yes.
If you
travel a lot, a Switch and a Vita, the two of them together, you are set for the entire journey. Unless you do sometimes what I do, and I get onto the plane having drank half a bottle of wine and sleeping pills, at which point I am woken up by the stewardess that I need to get off the plane.
Sir, you've been on the plane for an hour after landing. We need you to move. Fuck off from sleeping.
So, there is that possibility. However, I've only done that once.
I like the stand that it has.
Yeah,
these are the kind of small details. I usually notice particularly small details that I like. For example, when I got my car, that the buttons are big enough that you can push the button while wearing a glove. That was something that I noticed. But, no one else would mention that in a review.
Your car?
For some. My car, yeah.
What do you mean with the glove? Which
What?
button are you talking about?
The lock and unlock button.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Okay.
Not the radio,
I
obviously.
was wondering what you said.
So, I like the stand, because it's one of those things, it's so obvious that nobody thought of it.
The thing is, it is a pretty shit stand. You can see it was an afterthought. It works, but barely. But in a pinch,
Yeah,
if you don't
If
have...
you're stranded at the airport because your plane got delayed because, as what happened with us here a while ago, everybody saw an unattended backpack at the airport and just freaked out.
Yeah.
Everybody, it was, oh my god, run, we're all gonna die. And it turns out it's just someone got on the plane and forgot their backpack.
Yeah.
So, obviously that caused some pretty bad delays on the planes that day. And that scenario, the guy with the Switch is a god.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, and also to take overseas as well. After being, overseas and you explore the country where you're in and you're walking the whole day and you get back to your hotel room, the best thing in the world is to pull out a portable console and to just go to town until you go to
Or
sleep.
something happens, holidays never go off perfectly. You wake up and it's pissing rain outside.
Yeah.
Or for whatever reason, you can't do anything immediately that day. Or you're waiting for something. The most common thing in the world. Hurry up and wait. Portable console works amazing for that.
Yeah,
So,
it really does.
Okay, the thing about the Switch is that I have to compare to the Vita. The Vita's controller is built in. So if you just slip that in your pocket, all you have to do is pull it out and play. The Switch controllers attached is a substantially sizable thing. So you will need a backpack or something. It's not going to be as seamless as just sticking it in your pocket. Not that the Vita is that small either.
Look, either way though, the Switch is great. Like even though it's a little bit bigger than the usual portable console, it honestly is a great system. And I'd also like to point out, as a massive Xenoblade Chronicles fan, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is very good. Would highly recommend anybody who is on the fence of getting that game that they should get it. First hour is a bit slow, but that is the norm with JRPGs, so just give it time. Just give it time. The
When I
story
played
really does
Infamous
pick
the
up.
first time, I felt underpowered, so...
I mean, look.
Sometimes that's the secret of a good game. It starts out shit and it goes... it gets
not really
better.
shit, just slow. But I mean, that is usually how
Yeah.
it goes. You need to start off somewhere. I mean, that's why God of War keeps doing that. You start off with no powers, and then you build your way up to defeating gods.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed did that well too in the beginning. At least the one from Assassin's Creed 2 to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. There was an explanation for why you lost all your weapons and your armor and you had to regain it. Hell, Assassin's Creed 1 actually did that the best now that I think about it. You start out OP with all of your weapons. And then they're taken away from you because you screwed up and you're demoted. I think a Castlevania old NES game did that too, where you started out OP as fuck. You got
It was actually the Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the
PlayStation 1.
Night, yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
That's, by the way, that's the coolest name ever.
Yes,
Symphony of the Night. But you start out OP as fuck, and the powers get taken away. That is the best incentive to do anything.
For anybody who's played the game, I just want to add this in, just because of how funny it is. What is a man? I couldn't resist. I had to.
Voice acting. Those were the days.
So yeah, to sum up though, if anybody is on the fence about getting a Switch here, definitely, I would pick one up. If you've never been enticed by Nintendo's exclusives, then don't get it. But if you really enjoy your Zelda, your Mario, your Xenoblade, any of the Nintendo exclusives, hell, even Splatoon. Splatoon 1 was a great game.
Actually, yeah, and there's another thing. I want more people to have portable consoles because I'm fed up of being the one where I get stuck in a queue or I'm waiting for something. I whip out my Vita, I start playing a game, and everybody looks at me like I'm the weirdo. Every other person around me is on their phone, but me whipping out a console, who's the weirdo?
Yes, why are you the weirdo? You have the console, the one with the better game.
Yeah, everyone else is on WhatsApp, Facebook, and playing Candy Crush and fuck knows what else is popular now. I whip out a game and I'm playing the original Ratchet and Clank on it. How am I the freak here? Exactly. So everybody, pick up a portable console because I'm tired of being that lonely shit.
Yes, no, we need to, in this regard, be more like Japan. In Japan,
it's huge there.
It's huge there, and it's perfectly socially acceptable to
sit down and
play a portable console. In fact, there are dedicated spots in Japan where they make these sort of like miniature, like, I don't know how would I say it, like small park type things where there's a Wi-Fi spot where you pay something minuscule. It's, I don't know, it's a small amount. You go there, you sit there with a lot of other players.
And you play with
them. You play with other players.
And it's not that absurd. Everybody's sitting around on their phone doing something. I don't understand how just turning it sideways and adding analogs to it suddenly makes it weird.
Yes, it shouldn't make it weird.
Then suddenly I'm antisocial. How am I antisocial? I'm doing what you're doing, just on a more powerful machine.
Yes, like it's not antisocial. In fact, I would argue you're enjoying yourself more.
Yeah.
You are.
I am having fun.
Exactly.
I'm playing the original Ratchet & Clank. Of course I'm having fun when I'm not falling off a fucking building, but okay.
I mean, like, in that situation with me now that I have the Switch, I could be in a line, I can pull out the Switch, I can play Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah. Everyone will look at you like a weirdo, but honestly, I found after the first 2 or 3 times, you don't really notice that much anymore. What bothers me now is that I'm noticed. I don't give a shit that I'm being judged. What bothers me is that there's judging happening.
What bothers me, though, is just one thing. Is that when I do it, there's always that weird guy.
Who wants to look?
Who wants to look? Yes, who wants to look and asks questions the entire time while you're trying to play.
And then you have headsets in and you're... But my favorite portable console story ever is when I went to my cousin's house. He and his friend were playing League of Legends. He on his PC, his friend on his laptop. So I was not going to get any conversation out of these guys. So I decided, fuck it. I was lucky. I got my Vita. I was in the car. I pulled it out. I was playing Killzone Mercenary. Highly recommended, by the way.
Yes,
I started playing it, and they sort of look over at me like, so, what you playing there? Killzone Mercenary. Yeah, Mercenary, I think. What is that, by the way? That's the Vita. It's the follow-up to the PSP. It's supposed to be the PSP 2. Well, it's the Vita. That's good. That's awesome. Touch screen at the back. Everything's full HD. So, you want to swap? I play Killzone, you play League? No.
No, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm going to stick to my portable console. So, no, like... Definitely, if you're on the fence to get a Nintendo Switch and you see value in the games that Nintendo are releasing for it, definitely, highly recommend it. Get it. If you're a Xenoblade fan like me, I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer, guys. Seriously.
And to the people who are on the fence of a portable console, no, get it.
Get it, yes.
Normalize it.
Normalize it, just make it the norm. Alright, so... Now, let's move on to, like you said, we're going to go swiftly across some sandpaper right here.
Into the remaster of Spyro. I love that the games I grew up with,
are
giving away my age again, are being remastered. And the sad thing is, I never actually finished Spyro. It was the epitome that back then when I was, okay, I'm still poor, Back there, and I was dirt poor, though. So the only time I was able to play it was when I went over to a friend's house and played it there. But, you can't sit at your friend's house all day playing a game. Eventually, you go out and you do something.
Yeah,
so best case scenario, you get like 4 hours of game time. So I was never actually able to finish it. So if the remaster comes out and it's good, like Crash Bandicoot,
okay.
I really want to get it.
There are some issues that I have been hearing about the Spyro remake. Okay, so obviously it's going to be a remake, much like in the vein of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. It's not going to be a remaster, it's going to be a remake.
So they have to actually get the gameplay right.
Exactly. Now, there's just a couple of things that are kind of, I don't know, making me a little bit scared about the whole thing. It was originally rumored that Vicarious Visions, the guys who made
the original,
the guys who made the Crash Bandicoot remake,
they were going to do
it. They were going to do it. That was the original rumor, but
instead
since then that has been denied, and they haven't specified who is actually going to be doing it.
So we don't know.
So we don't know who's doing it.
If I was someone like Sucker Punch or these people, I wouldn't be that worried. But
the fact that we don't know is a little bit disheartening. There are other rumors floating around right now, but there isn't anything concrete saying who it's going to be. So it is a little bit iffy right now in terms of who's going to be making it. But you know what? If Activision does the same thing that they did with Crash Bandicoot and they allow the creators to be free in doing what they want to do, and they don't try to, force their hand in any way, then, you know what? I think that they might have something good on their hands. Because, you know what? I loved Spyro.
No, Spyro was awesome. Just like everybody loves Crash Bandicoot. Yes. Unfortunately, that one did it had its issues. But overall, the game was fun. It was able to bring you back to those days where you were able to play an old game with modern graphics. And I'd argue that's the only thing that old games don't have going for them. But we were discussing this just before we started this. I call it the reset that your mind has to go through. For me, it was Infamous. The original Infamous. I never had a PS3, so I had to buy one. I was late to the game. So I got Infamous and I started playing it. And when you start playing it, the game looks shit. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It looks shit. The older generation. But I'd argue anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, your brain effectively goes through a reset. And you don't notice the graphics anymore. And immediately you're starting to enjoy the game again.
Yeah. So graphics, they don't.
But it would be nice to play old games at modern graphics. Well, no, but you're gonna have to preserve the feel of the game.
That's why Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was so good. They preserved the original feel, however, because the damn hitboxes weren't square and they were circular because, technology, it made things actually harder on the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy than it was on the original trilogy. So there's plenty of times where you'll be jumping onto a platform. You think you got it. You think you fucking got it. But no, you didn't. You didn't. You slipped right off.
But if they made the remake of Crash Bandicoot easier, that would have been worse.
Yeah. They had to.
That it's harder. That's an annoyance because it's a deviation from the original game. But you know what? Eventually, that you get over the chance you go on. If they made it easier. Oh, I don't want to imagine what that would have been like, because obviously the new people playing it for the first time wouldn't have given a shit, but all the hardcore fans would have just lost it.
Exactly. No, that is true, but that's why Vicarious Visions did a good job, because Activision, they said even that they weren't confident in this. And Vicarious Visions, I think, were the ones who were pushing to actually do.
And then they made a shitload of money.
And they made a shitload of money. And now Activision's like, oh shit! So people actually do want these complete remakes, and that's why.
And then you go, yes,
we do.
We told you this.
Yes, we told you many times. So that's the good part. Spyro will be remade. That is
Hopefully
good.
well.
Hopefully well. And you know what? If Activision takes the same approach that they did with Crash Bandicoot, I think even if they choose a different, developer and they give them time to do it, to polish it off nicely, I think that it will end up being very, very good.
Yes. And the one benefit we do have with these remakes, even if it turns out to be complete and utter dog shit, you still have the original game.
That is
Just go back and play it. The older the game, the longer the reset takes. But it will happen. Eventually your brain resets to the graphics and you don't care anymore.
No, you don't. And this isn't a remake. This is a remaster that is coming out. By the most hated developer right now, EA.
Oh, yay!
So, their first remaster ever, surprisingly. EA's never made a remaster. They are remastering Burnout Paradise. Now, okay, Burnout Paradise.
I've never played it. So I'd never be able to speak about it intelligently. So I'd have to defer all judgment here.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I played the Burnout series. I loved the Burnout series. However, personally, I would have preferred that EA said that they were going to remake Burnout 3 Takedown. For anybody who remembers, that was the one that was also on the PSP. And that one was the best Burnout game ever made. It was amazing. Burnout Paradise was good. It tried to innovate, but it sort of took away some of the charm from the original Burnout games. And Burnout Paradise is good, and I'm very happy that EA started doing these remasters because that means we might see, and I will buy this, a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster for the PS4.
That would be interesting.
That would be pretty good.
It still doesn't save it from that ending, though.
It doesn't save it. However, think about it. It would be a good idea.
That would be breathtakingly good. The games that deserve remastered are sci-fi games. To this day, the best remaster of a game I ever played was the original Homeworld. Oh, they did a good job there. Gearbox has done a lot of shady shit over the past few years, but the remaster of Homeworld, that was awesome. The scenes are breathtaking. All the stuff that I hated about the original game, they fixed. Homeworld 2 actually works. That's a huge plus.
Well, except on my PC. Unfortunately, I've tried to make it work, but that's technology.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever for certain.
Yeah, you get the weirdest glitches. Like my PS4 had this glitch. If you didn't play it every day, it gets a mood swing and decides not to turn on and I get the blue light of death. And then I restart it and it works fine. Of course, that glitch went away.
For some reason.
For reasons that I don't understand either.
Oh, something I'd like to point out about Burnout Paradise, before we finish off here, is that EA made a mistake. They said that there was going to be microtransactions.
Oh, yes. I that didn't go well for them at all.
They said that there was going to be microtransactions.
And everybody flipped
their shit. And then EA quickly...
Wait, I'm sorry!
No, there's no microtransactions! There's no microtransactions! We swear, just please come back. Listen, we made a mistake. There's no microtransactions in you. It was a PR thing. I'm so sorry, please come back, please. It
says a lot about EA, that their PR department's so used to microtransactions. Yes. That's just a copy-paste into the speech. Microtransactions, cosmetic and progression... Oh, no, it isn't? Oh shit, I hit send. Oh shit. This is not gonna go well for us, is it?
So, yeah, that's good. That's good. That means, okay, it's not a new release of EA's, but I guess You know, they're
EA
not.
can
They're not.
rebuild their reputation like this,
Yes.
at least.
They're not pulling off an Activision where they're adding microtransactions into Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
You know,
remastering a game.
and
then attaching it to a game that nobody wants. And then putting in microtransactions. Here, Activision is worse than EA. It's time for Activision Blizzard to take a very hard look at itself. Okay, they did. There's still microtransactions, but at least it's detached from the shit Call of Duty game.
Yeah, so I guess, and okay, I will give them this, at least they are just doing the whole, cosmetic thing, even though...
Yeah, okay.
But okay.
I think it's known now how fanatically anti-microtransaction I am at this point.
But I mean, look, the good part is Burnout Paradise will be a remaster, the definitive edition with all the DLC,
no
microtransactions, and it will be obviously on the new consoles. And you know what?
Looking forward.
And I'm actually looking forward to it. I have not looked forward to an EA game in a very long time. And I'm actually looking forward to this.
If they pull this off, maybe they can finally start to redeem themselves.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah. Again, yes. Exactly. So, I hope...
Yeah, this is our quick fire round podcast.
Yes,
by our standards.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.
And please join us again for our next episode where we will be reviewing Black Panther.
Yes.
This movie has been such a buzz in my office for the past week. Can we just do that podcast and get it over with? Because I can't handle these, snippy remarks. Ever watch that Recess episode on the old Cartoon Network where TJ misses the new movie?
Oh, yes,
and then he doesn't get any of the jokes? That is where I am now. So I really need to see this movie.
Don't worry, we're watching it this weekend, and next week we will have for you the Black Panther review, and hopefully His Highness Erbia
descends from his giant pile of money and joins us.
But no, in all honesty, I'm glad that he had a good time, and it will be great to have him again next week. And we hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast, and we'll see you guys
next week for Black Panther. Thank you for all your support and listening to three grown-ass men complaining. We hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment and share. And please consider supporting us on Patreon. If you want to receive updates on our channel as well as when we release our videos, please join us on Facebook and Twitter. Enjoy and see you all next time.